class. So at this point, you have already read chapter 14 that discusses how argumentation plays a big part in the legal field. As we all know, it is important for us to kind of analyze argumentation in this field because that's where we see it more in our everyday lives. So one of the things that I wanted to mention today is that when we get into a criminal trial, a jury is selected. The process of selecting a jury is really important because depending on how you select a jury, that's how well, like that's how well the defense for the case it will be. And also, it will help the attorneys when it comes to kind of like arguing their point. Because the more susceptible and more receptive the audience is to their argument, the more likely it is to benefit their client. So today I wanted to talk to you about the process of jury selection and exactly how it goes. So the first thing that I wanted to mention is that the process of jury selection, it is actually called voir dire. This is how it is known in the actual legal field. And the words in French, voir and dire, voir means to see, and dire means to say. So basically, you say what you see. So their attorneys, basically the way that jury selection works is that many of us probably have already received a notice from one of the courts in California saying that we are up for jury selection. So you will receive a notice asking you to show up for jury duty. And then that particular day, you go to jury duty, you show up, there's a big room with many, many other jurors that have been selected for that particular jury duty. And then they will give you a number, and little by little, they start calling you in to a court to kind of form a jury panel. And when you're in that jury panel, the attorneys will take turns asking you questions that are relevant to either the case or kind of the type of defense or juror that they're looking for that particular case that will particularly benefit their clients. So they ask a lot of questions. They can ask questions regarding your age, gender, ethnicity, your profession, your level of education. And the more we go into it and the more we dive into it, you see that there are many assumptions that are made versus, like, for example, a woman is more likely to be more nurturing as opposed to a man. So in a case that deals with like child abuse or a child abduction, you are more likely to want female jurors to as for the prosecution so that they kind of like side more with you. So there are many assumptions that are attached to a particular audience. And this is something that we already talked about in chapter 3 when we talked about demographics and all of that. So there are several reasons that audiences kind of use to that not that audiences but that attorneys can use to remove for potential jurors from the jury. There are three challenges that I'm going to talk about today. So, like I was saying, an attorney wants jurors that are going to side with them and that will benefit their clients or their case. So they are going to try their very best to keep the jurors that will benefit them. So when they want to get rid of of particular jurors, they use one of the three challenges. So the first challenge that they use is called the challenge of the array. And this challenge of the array is basically when they literally get rid of the entire jury panel because they have been selected inappropriately. So for example, when we think of cases such as, Casey Anthony, OJ Simpson, Scott Peterson, even the case with Michelle Carter that had to do with the inciting her boyfriend to commit suicide. All of those cases, they are very infamous, well-known cases. So particularly on the Scott Peterson case, when he was accused of killing his wife, Lacey Peterson, and their unborn child, he argued that the entire jury had been selected inappropriately in the sense that everybody knew about the case. So they were already biased against him. So his attorney might have argued for the challenge of the array, saying that the jury might have been selected inappropriately, or in any other case, the jury might have many members of the jury might have relations with the client, might have a negative view of the client, etc. So that's one of the challenges that they can use. The second challenge that they can use is called the for cause challenge, and this talks about a particular juror that is impartial. So let's say we're sitting in a case that has to do with drunk driving, and you are one of those people who I guess you enjoy alcohol a lot, or you have problems with alcoholism. You might be impartial to that particular case. You might be impartial in the sense that you might quickly side with the defense just because you are impartial. This is also reserved for people who are sexist, racist, or anything like that. Then the attorney cites why they want to remove that particular juror from the jury. And the last challenge is called the preemptory challenge. The preemptory challenge is when the attorney just removes a juror from um, the jury, saying that, they just say that, their excuse, they don't have to give any reason as to why they are removing that particular juror. Now, keep in mind that preemptory challenges are limited. So attorneys only get a limited amount of preemptory challenges that they can use during a jury selection process. So this is not something that they can get rid of the entire jury by saying that they call a preemptory challenge. They are only specific instances and a specific number in which they can use this. So hopefully you have a better idea of how the jury selection system works. And again, this is one of the areas in which communication plays a role in the legal field because one, the attorneys are looking for clients that for an audience that particularly will be more receptive to their story, their narrative that they're arguing for. And also it is important because in the process of jury selection, they are kind of like asking questions and engaging the jury in this communicative process that will benefit their case. So if you have any more questions, if when it comes to chapter 14, when it comes to argumentation and the law, do not hesitate to let me know. And I hope that you are enjoying this chapter as much as I am, since this is one of my specialties. Hope you're having a good day and ask me any questions if you have them.